the two-point guards, arguably two of the best in the Big 12.
Well, John Robertson for Texas Tech leads the league in assists, but he also can get you points off the dribble. Important for the Red Raiders. Byron Eaton, he's a guy that if the Cowboys are to get into the NCAA tournament, he's got to take his game up one more notch.
Let's look at the starting lineups. First for Texas Tech, you have the three seniors, Voskuhl in the backcourt, Prince and Soljagic. They work very hard. Lewandowski, a talented freshman from Kansas City. And then for Oklahoma State, they only play 6, maybe 7 guys, and these 5 are outstanding: Eaton, Harris, Manello, Anderson, and Moses. The 4 on the left, the Fab 4 at Oklahoma State. Texas Tech wearing the road red, looking for that first victory away from Lubbock. And Oklahoma State wearing the home white. A nice crowd on hand tonight, including billionaire Boone Pickens and Hall of Fame coach Eddie Sutton. Rich, I'm kind of excited to be here amidst royalty, huh?
It is amidst royalty.
Duke Etzel, Terry Moore, and Donnie Gray are officiating crew, and they've been around a long time. And this is one of the terrific atmospheres in all of college basketball. Not a sellout crowd tonight, but when it is packed, it is unbelievable, the electricity, and Travis Ford hopes to bring that back. Hasn't given up on this season. The RPI very high for Oklahoma State. Who's to say if they don't reel off a few more wins here, Rich, they can find themselves in the NCAA tournament.
Well, they've got 2 things going for them. Strength of schedule, number 4 in the country. RPI, as you mentioned, number 28.
Lewandowski against Moses. Lewandowski has about a 4-inch height advantage, and he gets the tip for the Red Raiders. Again, it's the motion offense. Lots of screens, even on the man with the ball, which was not something that they did under Bob Knight. Manello with the steal, and here comes Byron Eaton wearing that wrap on his right hand. Jammed his wrist yesterday in practice. He says he's okay. That's really more for support than anything else. Oklahoma product gives off to Eaton. There's the first three-pointer. We'll see a bunch of those. Moses fights the rebound, but it's Texas Tech basketball. A look at Pat Knight, who took over for his father, his Hall of Fame father, a year ago. Towards the end of the year, he was 4-7. This is his first full season. He's clearly working to the future, Rich, but he said for guys like Prince and Soljagic, he'd like to maybe go to the NIT if he could for these kids. They work so hard. That's Robertson. And here comes Eaton. Want to pick up the pace. Anderson rips through the lane and gets fouled. He'll shoot 2.
One thing you'll see about Texas Tech defense tonight that is a little bit different than through the course of the year is they're going to try and get up on people, not allow threes.
There's Travis Ford, a product of Madisonville, Kentucky. That's the western portion of that state. And he said people, relatives of his back in the western part of Kentucky, still experiencing power outages from the ice storm a week ago. So his thoughts and prayers, certainly with a lot of family and friends back there. Anderson has been spectacular at times, but his problem is consistency. They're looking for that night in and night out. Robertson in the corner. Oh, that's a beautiful pass inside to Lewandowski. Fast start for the Red Raiders, just like they did a week ago at Texas A&M, and they couldn't hang on. In the final 3 minutes, they lost the lead. Manello says, why not? That's one of the problems with Manello's game. Throws up ill-advised shots at times. Soljagic with the right hand off the glass.
The banks are open tonight in Stillwater.
What a start for the Red Raiders. Playing that patented man-to-man defense. It's been 2 tough shots. Harris up and under. Finally gets the Cowboys on the board.
That's the one aspect that concerns the Red Raiders, coach Pat Knight tonight, is not allowing dribble penetration.
That's Prince, one of the seniors, and Soljagic and Robertson, the sophomore. What a pass inside to Lewandowski. Oh, he misses the easy one. And the foul goes against Lewandowski, his first.
In the Cowboy lineup, number 4, Anthony Brown.
Oklahoma State can score points in a hurry as you look at what the Red Raiders have done in Stillwater. Nothing to write home about. That night, a delightful young man to talk to. So excited about the future, the recruits that are coming in next year. Loves Robertson and Lewandowski, a real find. In and out. Yet to hit a three-point shot. Cowboys have gone cold in the last week or so, Rich. Nice pass inside. Boy, that's beautiful.
Oh, they try and double that ball screen. They've got to come harder at it, or they got to get better rotation.
And Travis Ford never questions the effort for his basketball team. He said, we do play hard at times, but we're not getting results. Moses, they're going to the big guy more tonight. That was the focus today at the shoot-around. Robertson being guarded closely by Eton. Nice matchup. Robertson said, why not? And he gets bited up and fouled by Eton.
You can see it as he comes off the ball screen. He slips it. Great pass to Lewandowski for an easy two. If the Cowboys are going to double the ball screen, they've got to get better weak side rotation.
Robertson actually lined up to shoot free throws, and they called the foul on the floor before the shot. There's Voskuhl. Travis Ford told his guys, don't let Voskuhl breathe. Don't give him any room. Now Harris is all over him here in the early going. Prince with the left hand, and Lewandowski, the follow. The more I see this young man, the more I like him, Coach.
He has played extremely well since Big 12 action has started. He has been a huge bright spot for the Red Raiders.
Anderson, boy, that's an acrobatic move, and in the tip with the left hand. A little one-on-one. Switching defenses now for Oklahoma State into a zone from man-to-man. First time we've seen that 2-3 look.
The key for the Cowboys is going to be they've got to find Voskuhl. So even though they're in the zone, everybody's got to be yelling, where is Voskuhl?
Prince, a rare three-pointer for the senior. Hey, that's some string music. Pretty good-looking shot. It's 13-6. Fires up Prince. He's tapping the floor now. Matched up against Eton. Brown is checked in for Oklahoma State. First time we've seen Anthony Brown in and out. Robertson lost the handle. Good look inside the huddle with the Red Raiders looking for their first road win for Pat Knight. Doug Bell alongside Rich Devosick as you look at Lewandowski. And Rich, I know you live in the Kansas City area. You saw this young man play high school basketball. Surprised by his quick maturation process?
Extremely surprised. I thought he was a guy that maybe come along as a sophomore or junior, but he has exploded in the last 3 games for the Red Raiders. 46 points in the last 3 games. He's off to a great start again tonight.
6'10". There you look at the numbers so far. 3 for 8 start for Oklahoma State. Most of those 3-pointers, but that's what they do. Voskuhl has been unable to take a shot. Look at the double team in the corner. Lewandowski. So Jagic gets stripped, and that should be Red Raiders ball, and it is.
Great recognition by the Cowboys in the zone, understanding that make Voskuhl shoot the ball off the bounce. Better shooter when he gets his feet set, not quite as good off the bounce.
Keaton Page is checked in for Oklahoma State, guarding Robertson, and that is a quickness mismatch. We'll see if Robertson abuses him later with that crossover. Shot clock was down to 3, had to shoot it. Off-balance shot, it's Cowboys basketball. Oh, and out of bounds. The clock did not reset. It fooled me, and it fooled, obviously, Texas Tech. Travis Ford very demonstrative on the sidelines, much like his mentor, Rick Pitino, who he played for at the University of Kentucky. Moses with the left hand. Smooth.
Great set play out of the timeout.
Prince to Voskuhl. Voskuhl Robertson now switch with Voskuhl at the point. Pat Knight doesn't want everyone to get used to seeing Robertson bring it up every single time. Soljagic quietly having a nice start. Page, the young man, up in nearby Pawnee, Oklahoma. Moses with the miss. Now Robertson. Inside, Soljagic. The fadeaway won't go. Time with the ball. Now set it up. Hey, his first three-pointer goes awry. So cold shooting for the Cowboys, Rich.
A good job in transition by the Red Raiders, making them set up their offense in the half court.
Lewandowski with a turnover, throws it out of bounds. Mike Singletary now checks in for Texas Tech. Along with Dwaylon Roberts, Soljagic will get a breather.
It's only the second turnover for Texas Tech, and that's something that has plagued them all year. Averaging over 18 turnovers a game in the Big 12 action. That's going to be a key tonight. We can see if Oklahoma State's pressure will wear Texas Tech down and force them into some errors.
That was James Anderson on the bench for the Cowboys. And Oklahoma State can ill afford anyone to get hurt. They play 7 players on a consistent basis, and that 7th player doesn't play but maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Another miss, Singletary the rebound. Mike Singletary says, why not? Count it, an opportunity for a three-point play.
That is the big difference in this Texas Tech team this year. Scoring in transition. Normally, in past, they would pull that out. But Coach Pat Knight has given his team a little bit more freedom to run on the offensive end, and they beat Oklahoma State down the floor. Singletary gets all the way to the basket before the Cowboys recognize.
Singletary, second-year player from Humble, Texas. His body much more sculpted than it was a year ago, and credit Chris Braden, the strength and conditioning coach for Texas Tech. Done such a wonderful job getting this team in better condition. Strength-wise, everyone on the roster is up in all categories. Moses with the left hand. And here comes Singletary. Voskuhl is really being hassled. That'll go against Texas Tech. Prince gets his first foul. Michael Prince.
That's a situation there where they were trying to move too fast for conditions. Should have pulled it out. Robertson, go get the ball, set something up when you don't have numbers in the half.
Nick Okori has checked in for Texas Tech. Very athletic swingman for Pat Knight. Keaton Page missed his only shot so far tonight. Another miss, going way up to snare that rebound is Dwaylon Roberts.
Since then, they have really struggled because they lose an upperclassman.
Okori gets tied up. Somehow got it to Singletary. Oh, and the stuff. That's Dwaylon Roberts. It's a 12-point lead for the Red Raiders. The crowd has gone silent here at Gallagher-Iba. Manello trying to insert some excitement into this crowd, and the Red Raiders have just sucked all the life out of the home crowd. This is exactly what they did a week ago, Rich, at Texas A&M. Can they finish?
Well, their second effort tonight has been fantastic. They're getting offensive rebounds, which means they can continue to score the basketball.
Robertson comes up short. Okori with a hustle play. Out of bounds, Cowboys ball.
You know, splits the double team after it looks like he's going to travel. They miss it, but they're hustling on the offensive end, and they get an easy putback. That is the second effort that it's going to take for them to get over the hump tonight.
Roberts with that stuff, 6'7", a sophomore out of Dallas. Pat Knight told us if he could have a bench full of guys 6'7", built like him, he'd be very happy. I think most coaches would be. You'd probably still be coaching if you had probably 12 guys like that. And here come the Red Raiders trying to build on that 12-point lead. First shot for Voskuhl makes him pay. That's the first time they've left him alone.
Just can't let that happen. You're in a zone, but all 5 guys got to be talking. Where is Voskuhl? Where's number 20? All 5 should be able to recognize that so he doesn't get an open look like that.
Travis Ford talking to his guys, wide open.
I mean, 2 guys look at each other instead of running at the shooter. You've got to make sure that you have communication, whether you're playing man-to-man defense or zone.
Red Raiders have struggled in conference play. Just 1 win, and that was against Colorado. But look at that number on the road, Rich.
That's where young teams struggle the most. When you get away from home, from those friendly confines, that's where you got to dig in and make those secondary plays, like offensive rebounds, like making sure that you continue to allow Oklahoma State only 1 shot on the offensive end.
Eton has been so quiet. Manello looking for his first points. Nice pass coming up short is Malcolm Kirkland. And a whistle. That goes against Texas Tech, a travel on Nick Okori. So there's a turnover. And there's Boone Pickens, the billionaire. The man whose name sits on this beautiful football stadium and has done so much for his beloved Oklahoma State University. First time this season he's made it to a basketball game here in Stillwater. Eton, the seas parted as he drove inside.
Yeah, that's when you got great 3-point shooters. You got to pick your poison.
Everyone's so excited. A foul now goes against Terrell Harris. With the body, knocked Voskuhl out of bounds. Rich, as we were here today, so many people talking about Boone Pickens. Boone will be here tonight, and you sense the excitement.
And you see Oklahoma State trying to pick up the pressure, trying to double team, create some turnovers, just a little bit too aggressive on that possession.
Voskuhl almost landed in the lap of the billionaire. And there's a steal. That's what Harris does. He's so quick. Oh, he blows the layup. Perhaps could have waited for a little help from the cornerback, Iron Okori, and here come the Cowboys. A little sloppy now on both ends. Manello being guarded by Singletary. Moses is a lefty. That's the way he wants to go. Finally gets to the ball. Quickly to Singletary the other end.
Mental lapse. Again, lack of communication. Moses at the rim shooting the ball. Somebody's got to cover for him on the defensive end.
Manello looking for his first one to fall, and it will not.
Ice cold.
We saw him practicing last night, again today, extra shooting practice. Voskuhl misses everything. And you know the chant. Dorcas is checked in. He wears 15 for Oklahoma State. And Moses with the left hand, not his game from outside 15 feet.
Probably not the shot the Cowboys wanted.
Way outside, rattles that one home. Hey, when you're a shooter, you don't let that air ball bother you, huh?
Not at all. He's got a great shooter's mentality. Doesn't matter how many he's missed. He's taking the next one.
He erased that from the memory banks in a hurry. Heat time from at least 25 feet. Answers. That was way downtown.
He's the guy that's got to step up and take charge in this game for the Cowboys, and he is capable of doing it.
Singletary called for the foul, brings a smile to his face. 28-15. We're live in Stillwater, Oklahoma. That's Alan Voskuhl, the senior sharpshooter for the Red Raiders. He had long hair and a very long goatee a couple of weeks ago. And Pat Knight told him, you know, if you're really playing great, it might be kind of neat, but you're not playing that great. So the kid came in the next day and had cut his own hair. A short look as you look at the numbers so far. 3-point shooting. That's the Cowboys game. They're only 1 of 7. And the Red Raiders dominating on the glass. Eton and guarded by Prince. Loses the handle, and the foul will go against either Lewandowski or Prince. It'll go against Lewandowski. That's his second foul.
When you come to certain junctures in the game, like I think Oklahoma State is at right now, your seniors have to step up. Eton is a guy who can make plays. Getting to the basket, now he gets to the free throw line. A couple of free throws here, it gives him a chance to set up full-court pressure.
Travis Ford urging his guys, knowing that this team has played a tough schedule. It only gets tougher with Kansas and Texas on the horizon. As you look at Eton, the very first McDonald's All-American to ever sign at Oklahoma State. He was part of that recruiting class from 5 years ago that was ranked #1 in the country. And he and James Anderson are the only two left from that recruiting class. Much ballyhooed, and you know what? Eton has never been to the NCAA tournament. Inside, it's Dwaylon Roberts.
Good job by Tech handling the pressure.
Eton gives off to Terrell Harris. Really no inside presence to go to. Nice pass to Anthony Harris. Travis Ford, and when he gets more depth, Rich wants to make that basket and pressure full court.
And it's tough to pressure the way he wants to do it when you got 4 guys playing 30-plus minutes a game. Fatigue becomes a factor.
And Voskuhl loses the handle but takes the body shot. That will go against Obi Manello. His first foul. Again, the story of this game has been rebounding. Texas Tech is dominating the glass and shooting much better than Oklahoma State. Robertson against Page. Robertson feels he can take Page. You get that feeling, Coach.
Well, if he can get into the paint against Page, he can elevate and get a shot off anytime he wants.
Page from the corner. That's what he does. That's what he did in high school. The Pawnee pistol. Oh, they love the kid. Robinson said, hey, how about me?
There's 2 guys that have green lights for Texas Tech in transition. One of them is Robertson, the other is Voskuhl. Robertson feels, as you mentioned, like he can score anytime he wants against Page.
Harris strokes it. Voskuhl is late getting over. Oh, a careless pass. That gets the crowd on their feet. They sense a momentum shift. Harris off the glass. Now the crowd's back into it. Timeout, Texas Tech.
Good timeout by Texas Tech, trying to stop the momentum, trying to get the crowd out of the game. For rotation, Page gets a wide open one. Then they come back, and Harris gets right to the rim after the steal.
So what was once a 12-point game has now been reduced to 7 as Pat Knight draws up the play for the guys in the huddle. In talking to the coaching staff today for Oklahoma State, Coach, they all said the same thing. We got to have this one. I mean, this is a must for Oklahoma State. Coming up Friday on the U, it's Fairfield and Canisius, and then Wright State against Butler. All right, nicknames, Coach. Fairfield, Canisius, quick.
Fairfield Stags, Canisius, Golden Griffins.
All right.
How's that?
You used to coach in that league, didn't you?
I did. I was St. Peter's Peacock.
That's the all nickname conference. And look at the student section. Now, years ago when Eddie Sutton Company had this rocket and roll, that student section, I think it might have been the best in the country.
I tell you, I've played here, and there can be major runs caused by a student section here.
For various reasons, the students don't pack it in like they used to. Obviously, if the team gets back to that elite level, they will. Vosco again left open. Luckily for Oklahoma State, he misses, and here come the Cowboys. Keaton Page. What do they call it? Oh, that's a travel. Okay, I thought the initial call was a push on Robertson, but speaking of Eddie Sutton, 2 Final Fours. This is his alma mater. Came back, and the great Henry Iba wanted Eddie Sutton to coach the Cowboys. And the rest is history. In fact, you see his autograph down there on the court. We are playing Gallagher Arena, Eddie Sutton Court. Robertson with a 3. And a whistle inside. The basket is good, and the foul goes against Terrell Harris with a push underneath as the ball is going through the cylinder. So Red Raiders basketball underneath the hoop.
Have a chance for a 5 or a 6 point possession zone.
So again, the basket is good. A new 35 on the shot clock. Brand new possession. 10-point lead, Red Raiders. Robertson, sophomore against the senior. Mike Singletary, a second-year player as well. And another foul goes against Oklahoma State. That's Keaton Page on the hold. And now Texas Tech in a bonus situation. Boston to the line. Anderson back in for the Cowboys. Page leads with 2 fouls. Bosco, one of the best free throw shooters in the Big 12. Right at 85%, cans that shot. And Bosco, one of those young men, runs this motion offense just like Steve Alford did so many times, and he's had a tutoring session from the great Steve Alford the last 2 years. Needs to make more cuts in that motion offense, Alford told him. Not just 1 or 2, but sometimes 5 or 6. Got to wear down the defender. Harris trying to wear down his defender. In your face for that one. Rich, maybe the Cowboys are starting to heat up.
Yeah, they're trying to get on track.
Blocked by Eton. Singletary inside. Prince tries to keep it alive, and here comes Oklahoma State. Corner. Bosco gets knocked to the floor by Obi Manello. Texas Tech on top by 9. Our star watch. There you see Byron Eton talking to the official, John Robertson. Not disappointing either player.
Well, Robertson is off to a great start. Not only scoring the basketball, but 5 assists and only 1 turnover. That's the key against this Oklahoma State pressure. Handling the basketball, not turning it over.
Eton is in the best condition of his Oklahoma State career and still gets tired at the end of ball games, really because he's logging so many minutes. He looks, you look at his face and just looks thinner than in years past. When you log 34, 35 minutes, you get tired of these games.
You get tired and you also get thinner.
Vosco can that.
That's the one thing that concerned Travis Ford. You know, this lack of depth means that guys like Eton are going to play a lot of minutes, and fatigue becomes a factor as you get into February. They've tried to cut down practices, you know, but at the same time, they're still learning his system. So it's a double-edged sword.
With really only 6 and 7 players logging most of the minutes, they have not put in all of the offense that Travis Ford rushed. Manello gets that block. Prince back. Oh, that was blocked, and it rattles home. Eton got up to put a hand on it. And the foul on Eton, so Roberts with a chance for 3.
Texas Tech has consistently beaten Oklahoma State down the floor tonight. You know, Robertson does a good job keeping his head up. Prince makes the extra pass. Now they got a 3-point play coming.
Roberts from Duncanville High School in Dallas misses that. Still 13-point lead for the Red Raiders. They have led from start until now. 3.5 to play first half. Eton with the left hand. Puts the foul. Count it. Two fouls on Prince.
Every time Tech seems to be pulling away, it's Eton who steps up. Has a chance for a three-point play. Getting to the basket is going to be a key for him all night long.
You notice at the beginning of the game, we mentioned he had the wrap on his right wrist, and during that last timeout, they removed the wrap. Well, practice today, Rich, it really does seem to bother him a bit. He was kept favoring that wrist, and I guess he finally just said, take off the tape.
Well, he jammed it in the previous game, and when adrenaline starts pumping, you forget all about it.
Robertson, boy, when you back off, he shoots so quickly, and that foul goes against Roberts. We look at Roberts. Many of these players from Pat Knight, Robertson and Roberts, they're sophomores. Singletary, a sophomore. Lewandowski, a true freshman. 6 new faces will be on the Red Raiders roster next season.
The leadership for this team is in their younger players. Robertson and Lewandowski are two guys who are people who can step up and lead. Bosco is a tremendous shooter, but isn't necessarily the leader of the team.
Coming up at halftime, our midseason plays of the year. You don't want to miss that. Our postseason, who's in and who's out among the Big 12. And we'll look at all the numbers from this first half. So far dominated by the Red Raiders. Their biggest lead was 12 points. It's now 8. Here's the motion offense that you've grown to watch quite a bit if you follow Big 12 and Red Raiders basketball. Shot clock now single digits at 5. Singletary traveled on that spin move. Turnovers has been an issue for the Red Raiders as they struggle with this 1-5 start. 7 so far tonight, Coach.
Well, some of that is youth. You got guys who are being asked to make plays for the first time at this level, and it becomes a challenge.
Soljagic is checked back in for Texas Tech, the senior. And when Pat Knight makes that move from man-to-man to zone, he'll stand up and yell sharp. Page left hand comes up short. Haven't gotten the signal yet. It appears to be Texas Tech basketball. Over the top, the foul goes against Marshall Moses. Look at the shoulders on that kid. Of course, Pat Knight, last Saturday night at home in Lubbock, the first time in his career that he was ejected. And admittedly said emotions got the best of him, but in the same breath, he was trying to protect his player who he thought was getting taken advantage of.
Well, you have to stand up for your players. And watching the play, it clearly looked like the foul should have been on Nebraska instead of Bosco.
All right, Bosco is leading the Red Raiders now with 12 points. Robertson has 10, so 22 from the backcourt of the Red Raiders. Eton. In and out. Oh, Anderson way up with the left hand. The volleyball match now begins, and here comes Texas Tech. Robertson behind the back. Nice fake. And an opportunity now for Nick Okori to go to the free throw line, and that foul goes against Eton. That's his 3rd foul. So Eton will lead with 3, and there's the quote. As Pat Knight said, my job is to protect my players. And so I have to protect my boys, he said. That is my job.
Well, it is as a coach, and he was going to make sure that that official knew that, hey, I'm here too. You blew the call. Make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Again, he was very contrite afterwards, somewhat embarrassed. And the league did reprimand Pat Knight, but didn't take it any further. That's the coach here tonight. As you look at three-point field goals, Oklahoma State shoots more than anyone else in the Big 12. They're now 5th in the nation in three-point percentage. Robertson nearly comes up with a steal. It'll be Oklahoma State basketball with 12 on the shot clock.
The problem offensively for Oklahoma State is when they're not making threes, they really have no go-to guy in the paint. Moses is a guy who will develop over the next year or so, but right now, he's not an automatic.
Shot clock now at 4 and 3. Terrell Harris, that shot was blocked, but the follow wouldn't go either. Here comes Robertson. Gives off to Voskuhl. What a first half as far as the numbers for Texas Tech. Getting close to that 50 mark. I know Eddie Sutton is watching and wondering, where's the defense? Keaton Page is 1 of 2 from three-point range. Moses loves it when you let him go to the left. He missed that shot. And here comes Voskuhl. They can hold it for one last shot, and Pat Knight calls timeout.
Part of the dilemma for Oklahoma State is when Moses is catching the ball, Texas Tech is doing a good job of forcing him to catch the ball off the blocks. And consequently, he's shooting that jump hook from 10, 11 feet, which is really out of his range. That's a situation where throw the ball back out and repost. Have a little bit of patience. But again, that is something that you learn with game experience.
Pat Knight and his coaching staff, the same crew that worked with his father. Oklahoma State has dominated this series. In fact, they've won 10 of the last 11 here in Gallagher-Iba. Again, Travis Ford has signed 6 players for next season. Seems to be in good spirits, even though they've trailed all the way.
Well, he's also keenly aware that, they can string 3 or 4 threes together, and all of a sudden it's a ball game. They did that a couple weeks ago against Missouri and almost pulled that one out.
And that was a 97-95 game. We could be headed in that direction again. In Texas Tech, it has been an offensive explosion here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. So Yagic re-traveled. 2 seconds. It'll be a 3-quarter court heave for the Cowboys. Manello and Page is right at the free throw line. Now Robertson draws the attention. That's it. It's good as it goes. Anderson with a miss. So the Red Raiders will start the same 5 that started the game, as will Oklahoma State. We have Voskuhl, Robertson, Lewandowski, Prince, and Suljagic. And for the Cowboys, Moses, Eton, Harris, Manello, and Anderson. You have to go back to February 24, 2003. Last Red Raider win here at Gallagher-Iba. Of course, when you go back through the years, Oklahoma State's had some pretty good basketball teams.
They certainly have. And, as Travis Ford mentioned earlier in shoot-around, they don't have a single guy on their roster who has experienced NCAA play. Which is amazing when you think about it. And the foul quickly inside. That
goes against Lewandowski. He now has 3. He set out most of that first half with 2 fouls. See if Pat Knight pulls him or lets him get a feel for this second half. Whoa, foul Prince. He'll shoot 2 now. The foul goes against Prince. That's 3 fouls on Michael Prince. 3 on Lewandowski, 3 on Prince.
Good recognition by Eton. Could have settled for a 3, but he knows that he can take Prince off the dribble. If he can continue to do that, that's going to wreak havoc for the Tech defense.
Again, Eton opened the game with a wrap on his right wrist and wrapped around his right thumb. We saw him practice with that today, but midway through that first half, he took off the tape. Doesn't seem to be bothered by that jam wrist. Happened yesterday at practice. Oklahoma State has played a challenging schedule, highest RPI of any Big 12 team so far. That's likely to be the highest RPI in the country after they play Texas and Kansas in their next 2 games. Shot clock now at single digits. 7 and 6. Better hurry at 2. And Soyagic gets tripped up by James Anderson. First foul on Anderson.
You know, Oklahoma State, as we mentioned earlier, has played a tough schedule. Michigan State, Washington, Siena, and their strength of schedule shows it. 4th in the country. Their RPI is the 3rd highest in the Big 12.
That's what the selection committee looks for, but Oklahoma State obviously needs a few more W's. Boy, talk about speed. Harris with the blow-by and then the miss. Bosco to Robertson. Soyagic to Bosco breaking inside, and he will get an opportunity with 2 free throws. That foul goes against Obi Manello. 3 fouls on Obi. Manello averaging over 9 rebounds a game. Last time an Oklahoma State player averaged over 9 a game. Let's go back to Big Country Bryant Reeves back in the early 90s. That's a long time.
And I'll guarantee you one thing. He didn't make as many threes as Manello.
That's right. It is an unusual contrast from Manello. Really a guard playing the 4 spot. Out of necessity. Hasn't complained all year. I think he relishes that role. Handles the ball most of the time. Boy, through the legs and all around, and he gets bumped again by Prince, who now has 4 fouls. Prince will leave with 4 fouls and be replaced by Nick Okori. Here's the Okori, the young man from Houston, Texas. Inside, really backs Lewandowski in.
Big difference on that possession. Catches the ball right on the lane line.
Okori, boy, he just like shot out of a cannon. 51 points for the Red Raiders with nearly 18 minutes to play second half. Manello has been cold all night. And the tie-up. The arrow goes the way of Texas Tech. Keaton Page back in for the Cowboys. If you haven't seen this young man, look at that face. No fan for sure compared him to Opie on the old Mayberry show with Andy Griffith.
He looks like he's a freshman in high school, not in college.
Lewandowski, boy. The more you watch this kid, the more you say, you know what? I think Pat Knight has a find.
Well, you know, they recruited a junior college post player that they thought would be able to play in front of him for a couple of years, and Lewandowski has beat him out.
Robertson goes high for a rebound. Again, Oklahoma State lives and dies with that three-point shot, and so far tonight they have died on the vine. Have not been able to pull the trigger. Look at the numbers, 4 of 15 as Eton gets knocked to the floor by Okori.
That's something that Oklahoma State has got to look to try and do on just about every possession. Try and ride the back of Eton until the well runs dry. Try and get to the rim, create foul situations or help situations to get wide open threes instead of settling for long threes with a hand in your face.
The two coaches tonight, Pat Knight played for his dad at Indiana, and Travis Knight began his career at Missouri under head coach Norm Stewart and then transferred to his home state of Kentucky to play for the Wildcats and Rick Pitino. Travis Ford, his senior year at Kentucky, shot 51% from behind the arc and led the Southeastern Conference. He also was the leader in free throw percentage that year. So when he speaks about shooting, this guy's ought to listen.
It's like E.F. Hutton.
Before he lost the footing, falls in the basketball and calls timeout. So it's been a slow beginning for Pat Knight and company, but they've maintained that 12-point cushion. Looking for that first road win of the season. A lot of time remaining.
And here's an example of offensive conversion by Texas Tech. The basket goes in, they get it in, one pass, two pass, a layup. So important for kids to understand what's important now. Don't worry about the previous play, move on to the next one. Texas Tech doing a great job in offensive conversion.
Student section looking for something to cheer about as Oklahoma State comes out with that pressure and then gets lost. And that foul goes against Slojagic. It'll be Cowboys basketball again. And you get into single digits and then you go from there. They've trailed all the way. Notice Hall of Fame coach Eddie Sutton has left the building, as he usually does when he attends a home game. Usually goes home in the second half to watch it at home. There's the driving layup. Terrell Harris. There you go, coach. Once on the other end.
Once again, Oklahoma State slow in defensive conversion. Texas Tech taking advantage.
Meantime, back out to Harris. Harris trying to clear everyone out. Moses, more shots tonight than he's had all year now, 4 of 9.
It's not the Cowboys game. Got to get the ball to a guard.
So Jokic into Lewandowski. Boy, that is pretty basketball. And timeout, Oklahoma State. And that draws the ire of Travis Ford. That night, gotta be pleased, gotta be excited the way his team's responding. And look at Ford.
Lewandowski is so fundamentally sound. They do a good job off the ball screen. He posts up right underneath the basket, not outside the lane, right there where he's got point blank. So well schooled in high school, coached by Donnie Campbell, who also had a pretty good player a few years back by the name of Matt Freege, who was a star at Vanderbilt.
He reminds me in a lot of ways of Freege.
He does. A little bit of a difference because he's more inside right now than Freege was at this point in his career, but so fundamentally sound and really has been a big factor in the last 6-7 games for Texas Tech.
Lewandowski also bigger than when you see him in person. He's a pretty big kid. And look at that again. Last victory for the Red Raiders going back to 2003. Keaton Page. Oh, that long drive shot goes down. That's his second three of the night. Doesn't shoot a lot of arc, does he? And Page with a steal. It's 2-on-1. Pulls up. And the foul Wouldn't bounce in. And the foul over the top will go against James Anderson. An opportunity missed by Oklahoma State, still trailing by 12. Hey, he made the trek from Lubbock, Texas, huh?
He's a happy guy tonight. You couldn't tell from looking at Pat Knight that he's up by 12, could you?
Travis Ford, a lot of energy. In fact, he came to the shoot round today off a workout of his own. Coach has worked up a serious lather as the team started practicing today. Oklahoma State has been unable to get a run. We fully expected one of those runs when they start clicking from three-point range. Hasn't happened. That'll be Oklahoma State basketball.
Some of the credit has to go to Texas Tech. Their transition defense has been solid all night long and hasn't allowed Oklahoma State to get some open threes.
Page has made 2 3-pointers. That time he just got caught in a gray area. Suspended in the air with nowhere to go, and he gets called for the push against Robertson. So Page picks up his 3rd personal foul. Robertson right at just under 80% from the free throw line. Gets that one to fall for his 11th point of the night. And Coach, what a night for the young man.
He has done it all, whether it's creating for his teammates or making deep threes. He's the guy that makes the Red Raiders go. Here he gets it's all the way into the paint, gets one off the bounce. If he can continue to do that without turning over the basketball, Texas Tech is in good shape.
Again, Oklahoma State. It's been a cold night. Anderson trying to keep it alive. They've had their opportunities now. Eton will shoot 2. That foul goes against Dwaylon Roberts.
His second.
2 fouls on Roberts. Eton is a Dallas product. Roberts is a Dallas product. And talking to Pat Knight about recruiting the state of Texas, he's very confident. He said, I know we can go into Dallas and Houston and get those kids to Lubbock. And he talked about Mike Leach, the success the football team has had. He said, once we start having a little success, no doubt in his mind, those kids will want to come out there.
Well, that is a fertile recruiting ground, and he's got to be able to get his share of players out of the Dallas area.
Obviously, Rick Barnes at the University of Texas, signing most of the top players in the state. Ooh, that's a tough shot for Nick O'Corey, not his game out there. And again, the foul goes against Dwaylon Roberts. So already Oklahoma State now in a bonus situation with just over 14 minutes to play.
That can be an advantage for the Cowboys, especially for a guy like Eton. He's a guy who's got to continue to drive the basketball and get to the foul line and score some easy points.
And the Cowboys looking to score without the clock moving. If he makes this one, it's a 9-point game. There you have it.
8 free throws gives you a chance to set up your pressure defense. Playing a little bit of a 2-3, 3-2 trapping zone, trying to force Texas Tech into some turnovers.
Vosco has yet to take a shot in this second half. Singletary inside to Roberts. No look pass. Roberts wasn't ready.
Good look by Singletary. Found the sweet spot. Roberts just not able to hang on.
That's the student section, which flanks both end zones here at Gallagher-Iba. And they make this place rock, literally on its foundation. Moses using that strong body, muscling inside, and he'll get an opportunity to shoot two. That goes against Singletary. So now the foul's starting to mount up against Texas Tech.
Well, one of the things that Coach Knight had mentioned before the game is they were going to stay home on help side, not lead shooters. So consequently, now it's a lot of one-on-one action, whether it's a post move or on a drive, and it's going to force Oklahoma State either to make free throws or make shots over people in the paint. If they can do it, they can get back in this game. If they don't make free throws, it's going to be a long 13 minutes.
Moses, big broad-shouldered kid from Aiken, South Carolina, made his way to Stillwater. Robertson, no problem breaking the pressure. Although that time he got stripped. He was barking for a foul. Anderson for three. That gets everybody off their feet.
Pressure defense created the turnover. Easy three in transition.
Boy, they quickly cut a 12-point lead to 6. Robertson wanted a foul. That was the turnover. And the bench, excited. They sense something, Coach.
Yeah, one of the few mistakes that Robertson has made all night long. Broke the pressure in full court. Should have pulled it out. Create something in the half court. Make them work a little bit harder. But again, that's what pressure defense does to you. It speeds you up. It makes you make bad decisions.
That's James Anderson. It's an 8-0 run. Just over 1 minute. Anderson is the second McDonald's All-American to sign at Oklahoma State. The first was Eton. And like Eton, Anderson hoping for a trip to the NCAA tournament. Again, Vasco has yet to take a shot in the second half for the Red Raiders. Prince with 4 fouls, a dangerous pass. Shot clock is now at 9. Another turnover, Prince. Anderson all by himself. Basket goes in, they're waving it off as he runs into Vasco. Won't count, Vasco holds his ground.
Good play by Vasco, gets his feet set. Good call by the officials. Very important now, Texas Tech takes their time and doesn't lose their composure.
Page called for another foul. He has 3.
It's the worst thing you can do when you're trying to pressure a team. You can't foul them and let them off the hook. He's going nowhere. Just get your hands up, make him make the mistake.
Vasco's first shot. Lewandowski keeps it alive to Prince. Boy, the kid does so many things well.
Great smarts right there. Knew he couldn't grab it. Tips it to a teammate.
Red Raiders have gone cold. Credit a ramped up defensive effort by the Cowboys as the shot clock winds down to 10. Prince with a left hand. Nope. Get it with a right hand, but still very effective.
Good patience by Texas Tech on that possession.
Eton just hammered Vasco. And Vasco will get called for his second foul. A lot of whistles. It's back to an 8-point lead for Texas Tech. Back here in Stillwater, Doug Bell and Rich Devosick. Texas Tech maintaining that lead, and for Oklahoma State, boy, this would be a critical loss.
Oh, this would be bad. I mean, they've had some decent losses, if there is such a thing. Gonzaga, Michigan State, both ranked. You know, Missouri came down to the wire. Oklahoma, one of the top 5 teams. But if you're going to make the NCAA tournament, you can't lose a home game to Texas Tech.
Cowboys looking for the rally here. Lots of time. And it appears By the flavor of the game right now, they'll be getting a lot of opportunities at the free throw line. Eaton now 10 for 10.
The key is make the second free throw and set up your pressure defense. If they can continue to do that, they can continue to force the tempo.
Eaton now with 18 points, 11 of them from the stripe. Foul trouble for the Red Raiders. Prince has 4. And those fouls are just adding up seemingly every time they come down. Prince goes in and he gets fouled. Goes against Terrell Harris. 3 fouls for Harris. So Oklahoma State has some foul issues of their own. 4 players. Make it 5 players now with 3 fouls. And the flow of the game has certainly come to a halt with all the whistles. Rich, I know. As long as you've been involved in the game, you've seen a game like this time or two.
It's going to be walking to each end because both teams are pushing, shoving, grabbing, holding. They're doing whatever they can to stop each other. And it's not about moving your feet so much as it is about bumping guys. And that's going to send guys to the line on both ends.
So Prince with 6 points. His average is 4. So he's above his average. And again, he has 4 fouls. Oklahoma State cut it to 6. Eaton. And Anderson. Terrell Harris. He was inside the stripe. That is a 2-pointer. Trying to set up that trap. And now they drop back in the 2-3 look. Voskuhl. Don't leave the ball.
Don't leave the ball. And if it's Alan Voskuhl, definitely don't leave the ball.
E-time. Now Lewandowski up in the air and then turned it over. Robertson calmly sets things up. Gladly run that motion offense. Oh, Voskuhl open again. Very fortunate he didn't nail that one, Coach. Well, Travis Ford's going crazy.
How you can't find their best shooter is beyond me. That is poor communication.
And now Michael Prince will foul out of the game.
And here's the case. You're on their best shooter. Don't leave him. And you don't run away from the guy with the ball. The only person on the offensive end who can hurt you is the guy with the ball.
So Prince fouls out. Roderick Craig checks in. Not a bad night for your senior guard.
Well, he's having a solid night. He hasn't turned the basketball over. And but more importantly, he's gotten too many open looks if you're Oklahoma State.
Prince was disappointed with that whistle. He didn't think he was the guy that should have drawn the foul. And he's been a valuable guy for the Red Raiders tonight.
He has played a very solid game, making free throws. He's bailed them out on some post moves on a couple of possessions. Very good night for him.
Anderson makes it a 7-point game. And the one thing you find out coming to Gallagher, Iowa more than once, these fans, they're very studious when it comes to basketball. They don't just cheer on dunks or high-flying slams. They cheer good defensive stops. They are truly students of the game.
And that's what Oklahoma State needs right now. Not only scores, but more importantly, they need to play some defense.
Harris just lost that handle. Moses stepped out of bounds. It'll be Texas Tech basketball. Nick Okori back in for the Red Raiders, replacing Soljagic. There's a good look at Nick. Junior college transfer, came from South Plains JC. Houston product. After Corey has the highest vertical leap of anybody in this Texas Tech team, he can flat out fly. The Raiders have gone cold as we get inside 10 minutes here in the second half. Another miss. Wide open. Corey. He gets fouled. Crowd thought Roger Craig walked. As the boos rain down and Travis Ford stirring things up. Corey with his first point of the night.
Yeah, I tell you what, Travis Ford might have had something to argue about. It looked like he took an extra step because he bobbled the basketball.
Corey going for his 8th point, excuse me. Been a valuable guy for Pat Knight off the bench tonight. Give him 8 points.
You know, Corey has really struggled shooting the basketball since coming back from a high ankle sprain. Maybe this is the type of game that will get him back in rhythm.
Ooh, nice dish inside. Beautiful pass by Eaton. Terrell Harris was wide open. Harris leads the Cowboys with 20 points. 5 assists for Eaton. Again, the Red Raiders, quite a dry spell, winning here in Gallagher-Iba.
Oklahoma State continues to stay in that zone, doing a much better job of finding Bosco.
Bosco on the cut. Oh. Who else? Lewandowski with the pass.
Right after I said they were doing a good job with him, he cuts right down the heart of the defense and gets an easy one.
Get the feeling the Red Raiders feel they can score if they can wind down about 25 seconds on the shot clock. Moses finally gets that one to bounce in. He has 11. Lewandowski. That was partially blocked. Won't go. Got his own rebound. Chance to cut it to 5, possibly 4. Eaton. To the line he goes. Lewandowski picks up foul number 4. It's Big 12 basketball in Stillwater, and the Red Raiders looking for their first road victory. Oklahoma State needing a victory to keep their hopes for an NCAA tournament berth alive. Not too early to be talking about that. Our star watch, Robertson and Eaton, have been sensational.
They have both been helping their teams in so many different ways, whether it's setting up teammates or getting points themselves. And Eaton doing a good job of penetrating, attacking the rim, doing a good job of dishing off. Also 11 for 11 from the foul line.
He will be at the line here momentarily. A chance to go 13 for 13 and pull the Cowboys within 5. Doug Bell alongside Rich Zavosik. Rich, long-time college basketball coach, 25 years in the biz. I know you've worked all over the country, Coach. Last few years you've been calling games in the Big 10 and now the Big 12. These home courts in the Big 12, pretty exciting stuff.
They really are. And when you can quiet them down the way Texas Tech has done tonight, that makes your job so much easier. And Oklahoma State needs to make 2 or 3 stops here to get the fans back into it.
Travis Ford watches Eaton miss his first free throw. Hey, Boone Pickens is now standing in midcourt. Our billionaire. And he finally took a seat. He's urging the home team on as we take a look at our stat track. Texas Tech just under 50%. So Yagic up and under. Pretty play. Oklahoma State really hasn't turned the ball over that much, because they settle for a lot of three-point shots. Moses, his version to Sky Hook. Gets his rebound, counted with the right hand. The foul on Dwaylen Roberts.
Great hustle play by Moses. Backs his man in. Doesn't make the first attempt, but he keeps going after it. He's got a nose for the basketball. Finishes it, now has a chance for a three-point play.
Now Moses is one of those kids, you look at those shoulders and you wonder if maybe the Cowboys football team couldn't use him at tight end or something, huh? He's a good kid. Ooh, dangerous pass. Roberts inside. That's rejected by Moses. Moses again altered that shot, and now he comes up, twisted his ankle. And that's an offensive foul on Eton. What a wild frenzy this has been. That'll be 4 fouls on Eton. Moses will shake off the rolled ankle.
Yeah, Moses, good play underneath. Keeps him from scoring. But Voskuil does a great job in transition. Gets his feet set, draws the charge.
That is just 3 on Eton. Robertson almost let that one go out of bounds. So Yagic from inside the stripe, in and out. Somehow that came out. Deep in the corner, another miss.
Huge rebound for Voskuil. Not known as a rebounder, but gets in there and mixes it up.
The Raiders will run that motion offense. Work the clock, work for a good look. Shot clock is now at 8. So Yagic, back to Corey. 2 good looks, wouldn't go. With the threes now, 5 of 19 for the Cowboys, and a foul against Voskuil. Boy, it's almost like a wrestling match between the guards. Bodies are flying. Usually it's the big guys who get involved in those sort of things. Eton 12 of 13. Look at those free throw numbers. Both teams doing very well from the stripe, but that's a lot of free throws. 42 combined.
Eton with a little body English gets that one to go.
Travis Ford and Pat Nye both among the new breed of head coaches. In fact, when we come to practices, they're more than willing to sit down and talk about whatever. The old guard, that's not necessarily the case. Not that you're the old guard coach, but
well, that's true. The other thing they've done is they're both playing with high-octane offenses. They're scoring more points than the programs have done in the past.
3-point game now, the closest the Cowboys have been since early in this one. Robertson from deep quiets the crowd. 6-point game.
I love the composure that Robertson plays with. He doesn't rush anything.
Harris lost control. Lewandowski traveled, drugged that pivot foot.
Everybody's looking at Voskuil. Nobody picks up Robertson. What do you think? They moved the three-point line back almost a foot. They probably could have moved it back another 3 feet and still would have been a 3.
Moses back in, rolled that ankle. Good look at James Anderson. He only has 7 points. Leading scorer for the Cowboys.
Moses inside. Good dish by Eton. Nice roll and finish by Moses.
6 assists for Eton to go with 21 points. Moses a season high 18 points.
You're Oklahoma State. You got to find 2 guys right now. You can't let Robertson or Voskill beat you.
Voskill. So Jagic fouled by Anderson.
Eton, excellent decision off the pick and roll. Moses, easy too.
So Jagic, one of the seniors on this roster. Had a nice game tonight. Has 7 points. Missed that one. 5-point game closing in on 4 minutes. Eton. Don't tell me he'll be back at the free throw line.
If you're Travis Ford, you want the ball in Eton's hands for the next 4 minutes. Pick and roll, high ball screen, the rest of the way.
That was the first foul on Robertson. And again, Eton, this will be his 16th free throw of the night, and he's connected on 15 of them. Travis Ford is a pacer, back and forth, wears out the floor. Now the crowd cranks up the volume. They're within 3. Need a stop. Red Raiders have always squelched the enthusiasm. They did it again. No, back iron. Eton. And Voskill gets called for another foul. His 3rd. From the free throw line, Eton with a chance to pull. The Cowboys within 1 when we come back. Alan Voskill has never enjoyed a victory in this building. The senior last opportunity to play in this historic building, dedicated back in 1938. The crowd has become a factor now.
You get a couple of stops, you make a couple of baskets, and everybody's into it.
Eton 16 of 17 from the stripe. This will be the 29th free throw of the game for Oklahoma State.
Well, if you're Pat Knight, you've got to decide how you're going to handle the high ball screen here in the last 4 minutes. They haven't helped with guys off shooters thus far. And consequently, Oklahoma State's gotten some easy ones, or Eton's gotten straight to the hole. So some decisions to be made here in the last 4 minutes.
2-point game. And again, the Cowboys have never led. Corey has been a spark plug off the bench, has the basketball. Robertson from 25 feet won't go. Here come the Cowboys with a chance. They'll take the lead if they connect. There it is. Red Raiders dodge it. Roof would have been going up and down if that had gone in. So Jagic. Eton. Little out of control. big man on campus tonight, Coach.
Well, quick shot on the other end, and Eton is able to get all the way to the basket and get to the line.
26 points for the senior. This will give the Cowboys their first lead of the night. First lead of the game for the Cowboys. Eton a near steal right in front of billionaire Boone Pickens.
If you're Texas Tech, you want one of three things. Robertson or Voskuhl shooting the ball, or a shot in the paint. How about that? Voskuhl, the lucky recipient of a tipped pass, gets an easy one inside.
Back it goes. Page from the corner. Singletary is checked in, grabs that loose ball. Closing in on 2 minutes to play in Stillwater. Voskuhl, terrific fake. Robertson. Here come the Cowboys. Timeout, Oklahoma State.
Great hustle play by Anderson, saving the ball from going out of bounds.
Cowboys back in action here at Alton Saturday, February 14th, 3 o'clock. These Cowboys inside the numbers. Tickets are available online at WSC.com or 977-714-11.
Texas Tech trying to go inside to Lewandowski. It gets tipped over his head. Voskuhl, right place, right time. 2 points for the Red Raiders.
21 points for Voskuhl for Texas Tech. Again, Anderson well below his average tonight. Averaging 18 points a game, but tonight only 7. But you get the big production tonight from Marshall Moses, who has 18. Travis Ford told us today at the shoot-around, our focus is to get Moses inside more looks. He's taking 13 shots. That's a season high.
Well, they have certainly done that. And on this possession, look for them to come back to the high ball screen with Moses and Eton. All night long, Texas Tech has stayed on shooters in the corner and haven't helped off because they're afraid of their three-point shots. Consequently, Moses has been able to get some easy shots in the paint, or Eton has been able to get all the way to the basket without help side defense. If you're Pat Knight, you got to think, okay, maybe I gamble on this one. Show him something different. Come off the shooter. Maybe it screws him up. Maybe it makes Eton think twice about going all the way to the rim.
They wiped some sweat off the floor back where Oklahoma State was out on the court. We're live in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Legendary Gallagher-Iba Arena, Big 12 action. Doug Bell along with Rich Zvosik. Long-time collegiate coach, 25 years, and you've seen your share of great games.
And Pat Knight has switched to a 2-3.
Up and under. Terrell Harris.
Oklahoma State isn't fooled. They still get to the basket.
Only their second lead. The first came at the 2:24 mark. Red Raiders responded. Can they do it again? Voskuhl, the senior, with the ball, has led Texas Tech with 21 points. Okori has come off the bench, as always, with the ball in Singletary. Okori says, why not? In and out. Out of bounds to Texas Tech.
Okori continues to struggle shooting the basketball from the three. 2 for 14 over the last 5 games.
Almost double dribble. Voskuhl to Robertson. Singletary from 15 answers. And the timeout. Red Raiders back on top by 1.
Good patience by Texas Tech. Singletary finds the sweet spot against the zone, right in that high post area. Doesn't try and get it off the bounce. Nice easy turnaround. Puts him back in front.
It's been a long drought for Texas Tech in this building. You have to go back, way back. The last time they won here, 2004 to be exact. Oklahoma State still with 2 timeouts. 2003 to be exact was the last win. Can they pull it off tonight? It would be their first road win of this season.
And that would be huge for a young team like this. Now, if you're Pat Knight, after the last timeout, he came out, changed to a 2-3 zone. The gamble didn't work. Oklahoma State got right to the rim, got an easy one. Do they come back, stay in the zone, or does he switch back to the man-to-man, which obviously his team feels more comfortable with?
Oklahoma State earlier this season lost a heartbreaker to Missouri. Very similar to this. Went down to the final seconds. Highest scoring game in the Big 12 so far. That 97-95 loss to Mizzou. A lot of offense in this game. I know Eddie Sutton was here in the first half, and I know the coach likes a little more defense than we've seen. But from a spectator's point of view, it's been pretty exciting.
Now, this is where you seniors win and lose games. When seniors make plays, you win games. You got the ball in the right hands right now in Eton.
Eton. With the left hand. 29 for Eton.
He is just too strong to handle off the bounce. Texas Tech went back to the man-to-man. Oklahoma State does a good job going to the high ball screen. You see, they just spread the floor for him. Don't help off shooters, and Eton is just too strong for Robertson to handle.
Pat Knight ejected from last Saturday's game in Lubbock. First time in his career he's been tossed as he came onto the floor to object to a call.
I think his players fed off that in this game. They got off to a great start. I mean, as he had told me in the shoot-around, they came back, had a 3-hour practice. There were no lulls in the practice. They really came back and worked hard. So, credit him with getting his team's attention.
Byron Eton has logged a lot of minutes tonight. Career high 27 points for the first ever McDonald's All-American to sign at OSU. That was 5 years ago. Never been to the NCAA tournament Eton. They need this one tonight to keep that hope alive.
You've got to find Voskuhl. No open looks.
Robertson off balance. No! Jump ball, arrow goes the Cowboys' way. Travis Ford calls timeout. 4.4 seconds.
A pretty good shot by Robertson. 10-foot fadeaway. Oklahoma State gets the rebound, but very close to a travel. Oklahoma State might have got the better of that call.
That was close. He shuffled his feet clearly.
That's one of those things they always tell you as a coach. It evens out over the course of a year. I don't know. I coached for 25 years. I still don't think it evens out. But certainly they got the benefit of that one.
Travis Ford really urging on his guys. That's the way he played, with lots of passion. Comes out into the court to yell last-second instructions. Again, Texas Tech will foul immediately if they don't get a steal.
You're Oklahoma State. You've got to run through the pass. Come all the way back to the basketball.
Eton. Need to foul him. No whistle.
Too much time.
Paid. And that's it. Never got a foul.